Thank you. So we'll invite Edwin forward. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's really the title of his speech. It's not me speaking. Okay. Really, the title of his speech. I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's welcome Edwin.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I'd like to start my icebreaker off today with this morning. So this morning I woke up and it was the usual morning for me. First thing I do is I go to the gym. So I got up, grab my gym bag, start getting it ready, go to the kitchen, I'm getting a couple other things ready. Roommate comes down, she's getting ready for work, she also gets up early. We started talking about what she was doing in her day, a couple other things, and as I'm about to head out the door, she asked me, "Oh yeah, what are you doing today?" And I said, "I'm giving my first formal Toastmasters speech tonight." And she said, "That's great, what are you doing it on?" I said, "I have no idea what I'm doing." So with 14 hours on the clock, I had literally done zilch for my Toastmasters speech, my icebreaker, which is the one that I've been putting off and putting off and putting off. I'd actually canceled it, and a couple people came up to me today and said, "Weren't you supposed to speak a few weeks ago?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I canceled it, I was a little nervous." So when I was at the gym, I was thinking about what am I going to talk about tonight? And I was trying to go through stories, figuring out what would be a good opener to introduce myself to the club. Just thinking about different things from my past. And the more stories I went through, the more I realized, in my entire life, I've really had no idea what the hell I'm doing. Let me give you a little example. When I was in high school, I started to learn how to write code. It was something I was really passionate about. I was excited to learn how to write code. I wanted to build apps. I was pumped to build software for a smartwatch called Pebble. And so once I started selling my own software, I made my own business cards. I put my name on it, my website, my phone number, and I was handing them out to people left and right. I was so excited. I loved building this business to the point where there was one day where I had been seeing this cute girl in the halls every once in a while, right? And one day she finally asked me for my number. And I thought, wow, what a perfect opportunity to give her my business card. Needless to say, she laughed, her friend laughed. I felt really embarrassed. And she didn't text me or call me, which taught me an important lesson. When a cute girl asks you for your number, don't give her your business card. Give her your LinkedIn. So that was an important lesson for me because I felt embarrassed and frustrated at myself, and it was one of those memories where you try falling asleep one night and you randomly think of it and it wakes you up and you're so frustrated about it, but you learn the lesson. And I've just done that continuously over and over, not handing girls business cards when they ask me for my number, because that's the only girl that's ever asked me out, but kind of true, but not. But the frustration and the embarrassment is something that's gone on and on and on in my life. 6 years ago, when I graduated high school, I flew to Taiwan. First thing I did, it was literally, I graduated, and I think it was something like 16 or 17 days later, I flew to Taiwan. And I was so excited to go over there to learn Mandarin, that was my goal. But I didn't end up learning Mandarin. Instead, I figured out how the hell to cook for myself, figured out how to live with other roommates and not tick them off. I got hit by a car. I did a bunch of other insane stuff that I'm glad I made it back alive. And the crazy thing is, even though by all definitions I failed because I came back and I hadn't spoken any Mandarin, or I hadn't improved my Mandarin, I had learned a bunch through the process of doing frustrating and embarrassing things to myself. And so I'm doing it again in 6 months, just less than 6 months, I'm going to China. And this time, I'm really excited to fail. And the reason is I've actually been doing a lot of research and a lot of mindset work on how to handle failure and how to handle stress, how to handle embarrassment, how to be okay with these things in life that are really uncomfortable. Before I came up here, I was trying to take deep breaths, slow my heart rate down, tell myself positive affirmations, do all these things to calm myself down, and I realized I've got this energy in me right now. I'm going to carry it into the room. So as I've been learning about this, I've not only been learning about mindset, but I've also been learning about the actual biology of how learning works. And something I learned just last week that was super, super cool is when adults want to learn, they have a more difficult time learning because they don't have this plastic of brains, right? Kids can just pick stuff up left and right. Really young kids can pick up a language like this. Kids can learn math. They can play music, like just insane. Adults have to go through an arduous process of learning things. And why is that? Well, the brain's not naturally as plastic when you're an adult, and so the way to actually trigger neuroplasticity is through frustration. Frustration is actually the key to creating the neurochemical cocktail in your body, including adrenaline, which is what I'm feeling right now for the alertness, what's the other one? Acetylcholine for focus. And then here's the kicker. If you stay in that frustration and you hold on to it, you stay in it. The second you get a little bit of progress and you feel like you've learned something, dopamine kicks in. That motivation of that molecule of motivation and drive, and that feel-good chemical that everybody's talking about these days, that kicks in and tells you keep going. So it's actually in the frustration, it's in the embarrassment, it's in that difficult challenge that the growth happens. And that brings me to why I'm here today. I'm here at Toastmasters because a few months before I came in, I had made a presentation in front of my friends and family, death gripping a piece of paper like this, shaking it while I was reading it off like a script. I was so uncomfortable with it, and I was beating myself up over it over a couple of months. And then I realized the only way to actually get through this is to face it. So I came to Toastmasters to embarrass myself. I came to Toastmasters to make mistakes. And I came to Toastmasters to get frustrated. In short, I'm Edwin Finch, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Thank you.